Businessman Herman Cain.
Mr. Cain, I want to follow up on your 999 plan for economic growth. That's a 9%. Well, they seem to already know what it is, but for the few who don't, it's a 9% flat corporate tax, a 9% flat income tax, and a new 9% national sales tax. Now, conservatives usually say, repeal the income tax before you impose a new tax. Isn't there a danger with your 999 plan with these three taxes that some government down the road after President Cain is going to increase three forms of taxation on Americans?
No, there's no danger in that. And first, let me answer Dave's question with the 999 plan. Unfortunately, nobody up here answered this question. He wanted to know, as a small businessman, what are we going to do in order to help him as a small business person? I have walked in Dave's shoes. This economy is on life support. That's why my 999 plan is a bold solution. It starts with throw out the current tax code and pass the 9% business flat tax, the 9% personal income tax, and the 9% national sales tax. This is the most important part. It eliminates or replaces corporate income tax, personal income tax, capital gains tax, as well as the estate tax. Then it treats all businesses the same. And the people who are paying only payroll tax, 15.3, that 15.3 they don't have to pay. Now they only have to pay that 9%. And unlike Governor Romney's plan, my plan throws out the old one. He's still hooked to the current tax code. That dog won't hunt.
Mr. Cain, this question was one of the top 10 video questions voted on by people online. And it comes to us from Lee Doran of Arlington, Virginia, via YouTube.
My question is, if you were forced to eliminate one department from the federal government, which one would you eliminate and why? Thank you.
The first department, if I were forced to eliminate a department, I would start with the EPA and start all over. It's out of control. Now, I know that makes some people nervous, but the EPA has gone wild. The fact that they have a regulation that goes into effect January 1st, 2012, to regulate dust says that they've gone too far. So rather than try to fix it, eliminate all of the things that they have right now and then start rebuilding a responsible EPA. Now, with the rest of my time, may I offer a solution for Social Security rather than continuing to talk about what you call it? I have proposed the Chilean model. It's been around 30 years and it works. It's a personal retirement account. And in the last 30 years, not only has Chile succeeded with that model, but 30 other countries have done so. I don't think we're doing a service to the American people to keep bantering about what you call it and what you don't call it. The solution is fix it.
I've taught in both public and private schools, and now as a substitute teacher. I see administrators more focused on satisfying federal mandates, retaining funding, and trying not to get sued, while the teachers are jumping through hoops, trying to serve up a one-size-fits-all education for their students. What, as president, would you seriously do about what I consider a massive overreach of big government into the classroom?
Mr. Cain.
A lot of good ideas, I won't repeat them. All of the programs at the federal level where there are strings attached, cut all the strings. We've got to encourage parents to take advantage of choices, but provide those choices, and we must find ways to empower the students. This is how we're going to improve education, but primarily get the federal government out of trying to educate our kids at the local level.
Mr. Cain, this week the Palestinian Authority brought their bid for statehood to the United Nations. How would you respond to the unilateral declaration of a Palestinian state?
It starts with an extension of the Reagan philosophy of peace through strength. My philosophy would extend that to peace through strength and clarity. This administration has not made it clear how it stands with Israel. When I was in Israel last month, I met with the Deputy Prime Minister, and he made it shockingly, chillingly clear that given everything that's going on, number one, Israel will defend itself with all of the tensions going on in the Middle East. And he also made it real clear that he wasn't sure how this administration stood when it came to Israel. I made it clear, which I would also make it clear to all of the other people in the world, that if you mess with Israel, you're messing with the United States of America. We would stand solidly behind Israel. If in fact it was clear to the Palestinians where the United States stood, they might have had second thoughts about trying to pull such a move without negotiating with Israel.
You say if Obamacare had been in effect when you were first being treated, you'd be dead now. Why?
The reason I said that I would be dead under Obamacare is because my cancer was detected in March of 2006. And from March of 2006 all the way to the end of 2006, for that number of months, I was able to get the necessary CAT scan, tests, go to the necessary doctors, get a second opinion, get chemotherapy, get surgery, recuperate from surgery, get more chemotherapy in a span of 9 months. If we had been on the Obamacare and a bureaucrat was trying to tell me when I could get that CAT scan, that would have delayed my treatment. My surgeons and doctors have told me that because I was able to get the treatment as fast as I could, based upon my timetable and not the government's timetable, that's what saved my life, because I only had a 30% chance of survival. And now I'm here 5 years cancer-free because I could do it on my timetable and not on a bureaucrat's timetable. This is one of the reasons I believe a lot of people are objecting to Obamacare, because we need to get bureaucrats out of the business of trying to micromanage health care in this nation.
What I'm asking for is, how are you going to turn this country around? We'll go down the row, 30 seconds each.
Obviously, it starts with economic growth. And yes, I've already laid out how I would do that with my 999 plan. But what Americans are looking for in order to build their confidence is leadership. There is a severe deficiency of leadership in Washington, D.C., and once we fill that void, I believe American people will begin to develop some confidence again in terms of believing in this nation. Ronald Reagan was the one who said that we are a shining city on a hill. We've slid down the side of that hill. Americans want somebody who's going to lead them back up to the top of that hill. That's how we turn this country around.
Again, if you had to choose a running mate, one of the people on the stage with you, who would you choose and why? 30 seconds down the row.
This is a game, and it is hypothetical. I'll play the game. If Governor Romney would throw out his jobs growth plan and replace it with 999, he has a shot. If he does not, I would probably go with Speaker Gingrich, who I have the greatest admiration for in all seriousness because of his history and because of his depth of knowledge. I could go on because I have respect for everybody up here, but it's a game.